Hi everyone, welcome to Courage 20. Today, we're going to talk about the three classes that we think would be the most fun to play. I'm sorry, the three races that we think would be the most fun to play in the D&D campaign. David, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, I think for my third spot, I would really like to play in Aarakocra. I think just the flight speed in general is super cool. Um, if we're playing 2014 rules, which we normally do, getting medium armor on a flying race is super cool. I want to play like a longbow wielding rogue that flies everywhere and just like, haha, you can't touch me, you can't touch me. That sounds super fun.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
My third pick is actually Goliath because of the new 2024 rules.
Oh,
Um, because the Goliath, you get to choose from the different types of giants, like the cloud giants, the fire giants, mountain, and I think thunder. There's different attributes that you're going to get with those. And like, I've had this idea of like playing a monk as like a fire Goliath, where like every hit I get additional fire damage, and like if you're doing like whirlwind of kicks or whatever,
yeah.
like just adding all that extra fire damage on top, it sounds awesome, and you're like just a giant brute.
Yeah, yeah, that actually sounds really fun. I almost picked Goliath. Goliath would have been my number four, I think. My number three, I have Tiefling. I think that the idea of playing like a half devil guy sounds really fun. I think there's a lot of role play experiences to it, and then you get like devil sight and stuff like that if you play it right, and you get like certain resistances, and then yeah, I think it lends to a lot of like really cool like role playing um spots. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because Tiefling was my number two.
Oh, really? Why was it your number two?
So there's the role play aspects of it. I think Tieflings just look cool, like with the horns and everything.
Oh,
And then
so true.
Yeah, yeah, 100%
on
agree.
top of that, like you were mentioning, like you get resistance of that fire damage, but also like some of the spells that you get at different levels when you're a tiefling, like getting your hellish rebuke,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I think it is really cool and like adds more to your character. Like even if you are a non-spellcasting class,
Mm-hmm.
now you're getting some useful spells.
Just like innate
Yeah.
tiefling things. Yeah.
And yeah, even though I didn't pick it to kind of piggyback on your role playing thing, like having that connection to like demons or devils or whichever one it is, I think it's devils, is super cool to have that like just jumping point to storytelling and role playing in a
Mm-hmm.
campaign. It's a easy
But
fun
even
every
like
time.
being like connected to devils is like, no, I'm a good guy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
don't treat me like this.
So you said you're number two. What's your number two?
My number two it would be Dragonborn, but I think specifically because I am a power gamer so bad. It'd have to be a Fizzbands Dragonborn where they actually have some useful
Yeah.
things that come with being a Dragonborn. But like I don't know, to me that I know elves are like the quintessential fantasy race. Dragonborns to me are the quintessential D&D race. Like that.
Like when you think D&D, you think Dragon Force.
Yeah, like if you don't have a Dragonborn NPC at some point in a campaign, I think we're doing it wrong. There's got to be a Dragonborn somewhere, somehow, every
Okay.
time.
I'll keep that in mind in my DMing, I guess. Um, my number two is a Leonin. I have played one for years, and they're awesome. I mean, who doesn't want to be like Mufasa, like running people down and like just beating the crap out of them? I think they're really fun to play as like in like melee classes and stuff like that because you get like claw attacks and like you get like your daunting roar. That's like a class feature. You can try to like scare creatures away from you by like yelling at them and stuff. They're just like I don't know. I think they're just really fun to play in like a martial class. I think.
I mean, the aesthetic similarities play a part as well.
Yeah, true. I put my wig on, let my beard grow out.
Dude, it's so perfectly
So
in character.
so perfect. Um, so that was everybody's number two. David, what did you have in your number one spot?
Okay, so my number one's a little weird. I know it's all my stuff's weird. Uh, but if anybody's read the Spelljammer books, they have a race in there called the Three Cream, which is a little buggy ant kind of people with 4 arms. They have telepathy. They get like advantage on stealth because their armor carapace like can change colors and blend into their environments. It's so cool. I want to play a little bug guy, dude.
Yeah.
And I want to not talk out loud ever. I only want to speak in telepathy.
Just fucking
Just
don't they have like little pictures?
Yeah,
Or
or they have, well, they have, no, they have like full hands, but they have like little antennas, and I just want my antenna to be like how you
me
read
me
my
me me.
emotions, you know?
that's actually pretty cool. Wow, I didn't think about that. That sounds fun. Zach, what do you have in your number one spot?
My number one is kind of cop out, but it's variant humans.
A variant human? Can you? I need a little bit more explanation on why.
So maybe I've always read variant human wrong, but in my opinion, you choose variant human. It's like, yes, I'm a humanoid of some sort, and it's like wherever you want to go. Like when I was playing Skiff in our campaign with Josh, Skiff was a variant human, and that was my way to be this like human-sized rat.
Hmm. So you
And
read it as an excuse to like make your own style of race or creature or something that isn't necessary like in D&D.
exactly.
Okay.
And then
Almost like
on
the custom lineages in a way.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's also kind of a power gaming move because when you choose variant human, you get to choose an extra feat immediately. You get to choose an ability improvement, and you get to choose expertise for 2 different things. It's
Expertise. I didn't
That is
realize that.
that is insane.
I,
Actually,
I think it was expertise.
you sure it was just like
Maybe
proficiency?
let me double check that. You might be
Might just
it might be
okay. I was
proficiency.
like,
But still,
one,
2 extra proficiencies right out of the gate.
that's
So you're
the
saying that?
feat
So like it's
is
So you're
power
saying you get
gamer
to level 1,
plus
you
you
get
get
a
a
feat, 2 proficiencies, and what else?
um feat,
your
proficiencies,
ability
and
score.
ability score improvement.
I might have to play very human and just
So like you kind of get a cop out, pick to play whatever you want that's
That's like
humanoid
a it
and
could be like a
be a power
cyborg
gamer.
if you want to be a variant human.
yeah,
Like you
yeah,
could flavor that a lot of different
yeah,
ways.
yeah.
That
That's
is very
actually
true.
really
I
cool.
like that.
I never thought about variant humans that way.
Yeah, I always viewed it as just a human. It was
That's
just
just
an
like slightly
Yeah,
excuse to
different.
get the extra stats on a normal human. But no, I like it. It's like a enhanced human in a way.
exactly.
Pretty white girl basic. Does anybody want to take a guess at what my top one is going to be?
I already know
Is it a
this because I
gnome?
know
It's
you.
not a no. But I'm like I'm like the like basic white girl D&D player. Elf. Or a ladrin, which is basically just a fey elf, right? Like an elf who grew up in the Feyland. Like when I think
I think
D&D,
Shadow Kai are kind of cool. They're elfy, right? But they're like dark elves. I think those guys are edge lordy.
don't you worry about the shit. Yeah, those things are cool. Those things are freaking cool. Anyway, um, yeah, like I don't know. When I think D&D, I think it brings me like when I think of like Dungeons and Dragons, I also think of fantasy, and like my when I it's like the first thing that pops in my head is elf, dwarf, human. I think of Gimli, Legolas, Aragon, right?
Yeah.
And I've always just like growing up on Lord of the Rings, I've always like gravitated more towards Legolas than I did Gimli, if that makes sense. And I just always wanted to be an elf. So when I first heard about D&D, I was like, can you play an elf? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm playing elf. And then my friends were like, no, we're all playing animals. And I ended up being like the only animal on the D&D campaign for like the longest time. It was, I don't know. Anyway, I've always wanted to play an elf in a D&D campaign. And I know that like I said, they're like basic, like oh you know if you don't have to sleep, you get all these things. Like you get like they're just like I know like they're a little OP in certain ways compared to like some of the other races starting off, but like just fits a core fantasy in mine.
I think cliches are cliches for a reason
Mm-hmm.
because they are so popular and so loved and like yeah, that makes sense. That's totally fair.
You mentioned like if you go through an entire D&D campaign and there's no dragonborn, but if you go through an entire D&D campaign and not say a single elf and tell me that does not feel weird,
Yeah, without a doubt.
right? You know what I'm saying? Or a dwarf, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it'd be weird not to see a
Just
dwarf.
fantasy in general.
Yeah, go through any fantasy thing and be like, what do you mean there's no elves in this fantasy? Yeah.
Very true.
You go to a Comic-Con, there's at least 20% elves.
True.
I just think they're stinky and they don't wash.
So I already kind of mentioned my honorable mention, which was Goliath. Does anybody else have a fourth
I think
spot?
honorable mention for me would be Bugbear.
Oh man,
Uh,
that would be fun.
yeah.
That would be cool.
Again, little power gamery. I really have the fantasy of being a bugbear polearm master and just like 20 feet away. Ah, you can't touch me. Be so much fun.
I mean, what you were saying with the elf, like my fourth would probably have to be a dwarf. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I would play one in a relatively soon campaign, but I do think like some point down the line, I have to play a dwarf.
That's kind of how I feel about Elf. Like if I die and never play an Elf in a D&D campaign, and running NPCs do not count. Okay, so if I never get to play in somebody else's campaign as an Elf, I am gonna die sorely disappointed. So
Noted.
awesome. Well, this has been Curse 20. Thanks for watching.
Bye.